This is student meteorologist Nico Sapienza. We have our live look at Doak Campbell Stadium. I cannot see myself on the screen, but I can see our live look at Doak Campbell Stadium right here. There I am. We're looking at a really nice evening, a really nice sunset to come with all the clouds. It's going to be really nice out this evening, so if you have your parents in town for Parents Weekend, it may be a little bit warm. We're talking about 83 degrees, calm winds right now, so you're not going to feel much of a breeze, but it is going to feel pretty warm if you are planning to be out and about. If you're going to the Family Weekend Circus, our feels like right now is at 87 here in Tallahassee, 87 in Monticello as well, 84 in Perry. So we're looking pretty much in the upper 80s in terms of our heat index at the moment. Looking at our local radar, we can see a few showers way off to the west. I think we're going to stay nice and clear this evening, though. We're just going to have some clouds. Tonight's headlines, we're going to talk about the timing and impact of an upcoming cold front, the return of summer potentially, or fall sticking around, and we are approaching the 5-year anniversary of Hurricane Michael. All that and more tonight on FSU Weather.
Good evening, and thanks for tuning in to this Friday edition of FSU Weather. I am student meteorologist Elizabeth Temple.
I'm student meteorologist Nico Sapienza. We have a really nice evening, like I just alluded to, that if anyone has their weekend plans starting this evening, it's going to be a nice evening to be out and about.
Oh, absolutely. We'll finally get like some sort of taste of fall, which I am very excited about. I like fall. I don't know how you feel about fall and the cold, but I prefer this over the hot.
Yeah, it's going to feel really nice, especially going into tomorrow evening. It's going to get a little bit cooler, and if you have plans tomorrow evening, it's going to feel really nice outside.
Exactly. If you look at our 7-day forecast in a little bit, you'll see a 47 as a low, so that's pretty chilly.
Yeah, it definitely is. It'll be our coldest low temperature since, I believe, early April, so talking about 6 months, coldest day in 6 months coming up on Monday.
Yeah, so that is going to be a good time, and we're also going to be talking about is the 5-year anniversary of Hurricane Michael, which hit the Panhandle in 2018. So we'll be discussing that and all about things that are happening in Tallahassee and around the rest of the country. So now we're going to take a look at our first local. So we have some cameras out here. We're looking at Tallahassee, Thomasville, St. George Island, and St. Mark's right now. It was a bit of a cloudy day outside, but we're starting to see that sun start to poke through those clouds, except for in St. George Island, it's a little bit cloudier there right now. And our temperatures are sitting in the low to mid 80s, so not too bad. 83 in Tallahassee, 82 in Monticello, 84 in Quincy, 79 in Apalachicola, and 81 in Thomasville right now. And those dew points, however, we're sitting a little bit muggy right now, at least for the bottom half of the Big Bend region, mid to upper 60s for the dew points for southern Georgia right now. 66 in Thomasville. We have a dew point of 70 in Tallahassee, 69 in St. Mark's, and 74 down by the coast in Apalachicola right now. So here's that upper level water vapor. That is a tongue twister right there. So we have lots of moist air up in the upper levels, and that is going to move through when we see this cold front pass. We have lots of dry air heading behind it as well. We have a few showers in the vicinity right now, moving towards I-75 there. So we do have a possibility of a few more sprinkles heading into tonight and into early tomorrow morning, but your Saturday and your Sunday should be looking mostly dry besides a few possible clouds here and there. So stargazing forecast, we do have those clouds once again, so we'll have a fair viewing conditions for that. Low tonight will be is going to be 68 with those partly cloudy skies. A beautiful day tomorrow to go hiking. By 5 p.m. it'll be 82 degrees, 79 at 1, so not too hot for that, as well as a good day to walk your dog. You don't have to worry about like being too warm. So we'll be at 72 by 3 p.m. So a very nice day to go out and walk your dog there. So for the 7-day forecast, like I said before, we will cool down heading into Sunday and into Monday. We'll start to warm up by the end of the week, but then we'll see possibly another rain on Thursday and on Friday. But here's that low of 47 that I was talking about, which we'll see Sunday night. So make sure that you have your jackets out, at least for Sunday night and possibly Monday as well, because it'll be quite chilly and a very cold day that we haven't seen in a long time. So now we're going to take a wider look at the whole state of Florida with Isabel.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So we are going to take a step back and look at the state of Florida as a whole. It's Parents Weekend, so if you're in state, maybe your parents are coming from here. So in Panama City, it is 82 degrees. It's pretty similar conditions as we've seen here, as it is just slightly to our west. And Orlando, Florida, look at that. It is beautiful skies right now. Fort Myers, 91, and West Palm Beach sitting at 82, which is about what we're going to see in the rest of Florida. That is where we are at right now at 82 degrees in Tallahassee. It gets a little bit cooler as you get towards Jacksonville at 78 degrees. And South Florida, beautiful as always, as you can expect. But that cold front is pushing in that dry air, so we are seeing lower dew points than normal. Low dew points are going to tell you how dry the air is versus something like relative humidity, which is a little bit less accurate. So as we see, it is 70 degrees dew point in Tallahassee, and gets a little bit warmer down as the air gets warmer, but it's keeping that dry air as we saw from that cold front. The Florida radar, we are seeing those showers that we saw in the morning, but not much going on in the state of Florida on this beautiful Friday. But we will be seeing some showers later on into the week throughout all of Florida from that cold front. Just like I said just then, here are those showers and some upper level clouds that are going to move through, but it's not going to affect your day-to-day life. You're not going to be needing any parkas or umbrellas for this week. This is the rainfall. There is a chance tomorrow throughout our whole area, and especially down in Miami right here, you're going to be seeing a little bit of rain. And for future temperatures, you can see that it changes throughout tomorrow. It's going to get a little bit cooler, and as we said, we're entering fall, so it's going to be a little bit cooler for the foreseeable future. And those temperatures are persisting into Saturday, getting a little bit warmer for that game. It's going to be very comfortable, not cold yet, as we would expect to see this time of year. But again, more future temperatures for Sunday, cooling down a little bit on those days. And for West Palm Beach, if you're coming from there, we will be seeing precipitation in that area. Orlando, beautiful, as you can see, it's going to be partly cloudy, temperate, and dry, which is amazing. If you're heading out to Fort Myers, it's going to be a great day to go on the beach, but not necessarily get that tan. And if you're looking at the weekend forecast in Panama City, it is beautiful, warm, but again, not really swimming weather, not really just enjoying your time here at Panama City. But it is going to get colder. As I said, it is the start of fall. So all throughout Florida, we are going to be seeing cooler temperatures in the next few days. And as we said at the desk, it is going to have a low for 6-month low throughout all Florida. And that is going to happen early on this week. But I'm going to take one more step back and look at the Southeast as a whole with Nico.
Yes, thank you, Isabel. We are going to be talking about our coldest day for much of the Southeast in 6 months, actually, on Monday. But right now we're dealing with our warm temperatures still all the way from Louisiana to Tennessee to North Carolina to Alabama. Nashville, it's not nighttime yet, but the 75-degree temperature is correct. So it is pretty warm for Tennessee still at this time of year. 84 in Louisiana is also pretty warm. As we're looking at Birmingham's dealing with some clouds and maybe had some showers pass through. 73 is a little bit cooler. Charlotte, North Carolina, you're at 82 under sunny skies right now. Area wide in the southeast, however, you're talking about 80s pretty much area wide, except for up way in Tennessee, parts of Georgia and South Carolina as well, where there are more clouds. But taking a look up here, just outside of the northwestern part of the southeast, you can see where our cooler temperatures are going to be coming from. This is where our front is positioned right now, the one that will be coming through our area by late tomorrow. You can even see this on the dew points. You're talking about dry dew points already getting into parts of Arkansas and Tennessee. But as you get into the southeast, our dew points are in the 70s here in Tallahassee, 70 in New Orleans as well. That's summer-like mugginess for the coastal parts of the southeast. And it's going to feel humid for at least the next 24 hours, but then we cool off pretty quickly. You can see our upper level water vapor too, which is another reason we are seeing some clouds and humidity through the southern part of the southeast today. But you can see your trough coming in with the cold front up here And Little Rock, you're in the middle of this, between this, where it is starting to dry out, and you're going to have your front coming through there within the next hour or two. But ahead of this front, we are dealing with some showers, especially over the Gulf of Mexico. If you're planning to boat in the Gulf of Mexico, probably not a good time to do that. But if you're going to be hiking in the Appalachians, that's probably not a good time to do that either, because you are dealing with some showers right now. However, over Florida, much of Florida is nice at the moment. We aren't seeing too much in the way of sea breeze storms like we normally see in summer as we're winding that season down, but we are dealing with a few showers over northern Florida. Our future radar, you can see the cold front pretty much getting through by Saturday evening. We might be dealing with some clouds, but as we head into Sunday, we're going to be dealing with nice, dry, cool weather on Sunday. And look at our future temperatures. Here's where you can really see the cold front. By looking in Saturday morning, it's going to be 69 here in Tallahassee. It's going to be up in 51 in Little Rock, so you can see a big difference in temperatures. And then as we head through the day, we'll have one more day in the 80s here in Tallahassee. But the interior southeast, you're in the 60s. Nashville, you're at 63, which is going to be really chilly up there. As we head into Saturday night into Sunday morning, you're looking at temperatures in the 40s, and it's going to get really cool. But looking at our weekend forecast in southeast, we're looking at Monroe, Louisiana. You could see the cold front already is going to come through. Your coolest day is going to be tomorrow, but look at that low, 44 degrees on Sunday morning. If you're going to be going out for church or anything else, it's going to be chilly, but it rebounds quickly as we head into Monday. But now I'm going to pass things back off to Elizabeth.
Yeah, so we're going to take one more zoom out and look at the whole country as a whole. So we are sitting pretty nice for those feel-like temperatures right now. Lots of cold air in the northern part of the Midwest. It's 45 in Rapid City, 44 in Bismarck, 50 in Minneapolis right now. But in the Southwest, it feels like 102 in Phoenix, and it is 3 o'clock there right now. So this is probably the warmest that they're going to get all day. It feels like 78 in Los Angeles and 88 in San Francisco right now. So with that front, we're going to have some fire watches and warnings. So we do have a fire warning for this purple shaded area, and this beige area is a fire watch. So because of those drier conditions and those higher winds that we'll be seeing when this cold front comes through, we'll have to worry about possibly a few brush fires. So here is the surface analysis right now. So we do have this stationary boundary that is moving, that will move through Tallahassee, and then this cold front is right behind it where there is an area of high pressure, and that's going to bring lots of dry and pleasant weather to the places that it is going to come through. So for the future radar, we'll see that cold front move through, but notice out here we have extratropical cyclone Philippe, and so that is going to be a big, well, that is possibly going to be a big danger to the northeast and New England as we head into later this weekend. So here we have that rainfall forecast. So there is predicted to be a 3 to 5 inches of rain for parts of the northeast. So let's zoom in on that, and that is mainly along the New York Turnpike right here, which that is going to bring, so the storm is possibly going to be bringing up to 3 to 5 inches, as well as some places in Maine. So there is a slight risk for flood potential for these areas heading from New York City up north to the Canadian border and all the way up through Maine, up through there. So that is really the only place that we're going to be concerned about any flooding right now. But our future temperatures is going to get pretty chilly for lots of the country heading into tomorrow morning. It's going to be 36 in Rapid City, 39 in Kansas City, and 31 in Bismarck. And by tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a warmer day for some, but a pretty pleasant day for most people, except for Phoenix, where it's going to be 99 by 5 o'clock our time tomorrow, 82 in Tallahassee, 77 in New Orleans, and 52 in Minneapolis by 5 o'clock our time tomorrow. Another chillier night, but notice how that how the cool temperatures will move east, and now we have a 45 for Sunday morning in Pittsburgh, 46 in Chicago, and 45 in Detroit. And so for Sunday, another warmer day, especially for those in the Midwest, 95 in Phoenix, 76 in Albuquerque, 80 in Dallas for Sunday afternoon. So wet Saturday for Boston, but then it'll stay nice. And, our high temperatures in the mid-60s there. For Chicago, we're going to have a dry weekend as well. Highs in the mid-50s. Houston, also dry. Highs in the mid-70s to low 80s. And in Denver, also another pleasant day. So we're going to pass it off to Aaron to talk about lifestyle.
That's right, and actually looks really pleasant there in Denver, Colorado. But let's take things back here closer to home here with our lifestyle segment. Just kind of talk about, of course, all your weekend plans, what you might be doing here. So if you are flying out of Tallahassee International Airport here, we don't expect too much in the way of delays here, except perhaps if you are flying out of Dallas or Boston here, that's where you might see some delays here with some thunderstorms across those areas, especially on the increase here in Dallas-Fort Worth. So do watch out if you're heading out there out in the airport there. But closer to home here in Tallahassee here, right now 80 degrees at the airport. Weather delays are unlikely. As we kind of go towards midnight here, also 72 degrees, really pleasant. Weather delays are unlikely. And then pretty similar story to tomorrow morning as well. We're going to be in the upper 60s to low 70s with weather delays also unlikely. So not a bad time if you are flying out of town. But if you are staying in town, perhaps going to College Town tonight, we will expect those temperatures to drop down into the 70s for the most part. And this can kind of more of a moist 70 as opposed to kind of a dry 70. So it shouldn't feel that bad, but perhaps a little bit on the more humid side here out the door tonight. And then if you are driving around town tomorrow, we don't expect any kind of delays here on the roadways as we expect those temperatures to remain really pleasant, especially as you get towards later in the afternoon tomorrow, where after the passage of the cold front, it might actually feel really nice and actually feels closer to that ambient temperature of in the 80s and 70s there. So really nice if you're heading out the door on that drive tomorrow. But if you're driving to the beach tomorrow specifically, conditions at Panama City Beach are partly cloudy. Temperatures in the 70s to near 80 degrees or so at the water there. Winds out of the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour following the cold front there. If you're heading out to, of course, the big football game tomorrow with Florida State against Virginia Tech there at Doak Campbell Stadium, expect temperatures around kickoff to be around in the low 70s or so. They will eventually bottom out into the lower 60s. So you actually may even need a light jacket if you are heading out the door tomorrow if you find that to be kind of chilly. So man, do watch out for that. If you're going to church on Sunday following, the next morning after the game here, temperatures actually will be pretty chilly in the morning in the middle 50s or so. So you probably need that light jacket if you're heading out the door to church, and probably almost all the way through midday or so, staying in the lean. It's just about into the 60s or so. So if you're watching, of course, Our Lady Knowles here playing against Boston College here at the Seminole Sports Complex, temperatures should rise from the 60s to near the low 70s here on Sunday after or towards the end of the game there. And then if you're doing perhaps a picnic on Sunday here in Crosstown, looks really nice, of course, in the 70s here at 4 p.m. and then dropping into the lower 60s by the time we get into the later portions of the day. But into the weekend, of course, the big story is going to be that cooler temperatures. Look at that, 47 degrees overnight Sunday into Monday. So that's going to feel really pleasant out there. But Ollie, how do you feel about 47 degrees on Sunday night and Monday morning?
You know, Aaron, I feel very good about that 47 degree. I personally am a big fall girl. This is our first sort of feeling of that fall that we're getting here in Tallahassee, so I'm really looking forward to that. But did you also know that on this day, Hurricane Michael hit?
I did not know that, but now I do. I mean, I know it was quite a long time ago, but interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually going to talk about that in remembrance of Hurricane Michael that affected people here in the Panhandle very, very severely. A lot of places are still struggling with Hurricane Michael impacts, but it actually started way back on October 1st. A broad low pressure system formed in the Western Caribbean, and a lot of those African easterly waves then move into our area here, that sort of danger zone for the United States. On October 6th, the National Hurricane Center began to issue tropical storm advisories, or tropical cyclone advisories, for potential tropical cyclone 14. Little did they know that this was going to explode into this Category 5, and October 7th, it was a tropical storm that they named Michael.
Right, and of course, Michael is no longer being used anymore because, of course, like you just mentioned, it did make landfall as a Category 5 hurricane. Very powerful there, of course, as it did undergo rapid intensification in the Gulf of Mexico, which means that the pressure deepened, and that's the meteorological term, which means that the pressure lowered significantly in a short amount of time, but also the wind speeds also increased very rapidly as well. And of course, making landfall on October 10th in Mexico Beach, Florida as a Category 5.
Yeah, of course. And then that Hurricane Michael absolutely hauled its way up to Virginia, becoming an extratropical cyclone and leaving a devastating impact throughout the United States. You can take a look here and see that path that it went within 24 hours from landfall all the way up to Virginia. A very strong hurricane. I believe it was the first Category 5 hurricane since Hurricane Andrew in 1992.
I believe it was, right. So again, actually, this was actually post-analysis too, because before it was rated as Cat 4 at 155, but I mean, 155 mile per hour Category 4 is not different than 160 mile per hour Category 5. So again, very powerful any way you look at it, but I mean, this happened all pretty quickly too, because only 4 days or so from when it kind of formed up to landfall?
Absolutely, and that normally happens with these Gulf storms. It's just so warm, those sea surface temperatures in the Gulf, you have that warm Gulf Stream, so a lot of these storms that make its way through there, it just explodes into these rapidly intensified hurricanes.
That's right, and of course, it had storm surge of 14 feet as well, and then took the lives, unfortunately, of 74 people there and caused an estimated $25.1 billion in damages. So very, very intense hurricane, very, very powerful, and unfortunately, of course, caused a lot of devastation there in Mexico Beach.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of these folks are still, as I said, struggling with these effects of Hurricane Michael. And we're actually going to be talking about that a little bit more with the climate that we've been seeing recently. We did mention that a lot of these storms have been happening more recently because of climate change and the effects that it's been having on those sea surface temperatures. But as you can see here for Tallahassee, the past 31 days, we've had a lot of above normal highs. We've also had a lot of regular normals, but it's a little bit unusual because you would think we're starting to get into fall, we're going to get some cooler temperatures, but definitely those higher temperatures are definitely persisting throughout September and a little bit into October. But for our temperature almanac, it was relatively normal today. We had an average high, a little bit of a higher low, especially better than that 44 in 1979 and better than that 92 in 2002. I don't know about you, but seeing 92 in October is insane. And for that seasonal directory, we are heading right into actual fall, folks. We are not expecting to get a lot more of these above average temperatures. We're expected to stay kind of in the average for us here in Tallahassee. So that is good news because I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of sweating on my way to class. And for those future temperature anomalies, you can see that we're getting a cold front that's going to come through the area. But again, we have these typical fluctuations throughout the nation of these cold air masses coming in, shaking things up, and then we're getting back into these regular temperatures, especially for us here down in the southeast. Different story, though, for those up in the western United States. And for those minimum temperature anomalies, again, we've mentioned that it's going to get down into the 40s here. So it is going to be very, very cold for us here in the southeast, especially for the beginning of October. But it's going to warm up a little bit. Texas cannot catch a break with that heat. And for a lot of our friends up in the Pacific Northwest, they're actually going to be experiencing some warmer than average temperatures. And that is quite dangerous for these folks because a lot of them do not have air conditioning. So if you're in these areas, make sure you're keeping in touch with your National Weather Service because that can be very deadly for you folks. It's going to be a lot cooler for the midsection of the United States and to some more normal temperatures for us here in the East Coast. And looking at a more broader view from the Center of the Climate Prediction Center, again, it's going to be quite toasty, very dangerous, these high heat, and definitely a lot cooler for us here in the southeast. We're also expected to get a lot more precipitation, which is great because we've been in a drought. However, that's a different story again for the western United States where it's expected to be warmer. And for a farther outlook, we are seeing these drier conditions for the western United States, and that you can see that especially on our drought monitor. We actually had the National Climate Environmental Protection Director come in and talk to us about these droughts that we've been having. So a great FSU Knoll alumni talking about how climate is affecting us here recently. But yes, of course, it's going to be dry, it's going to be gross, but we're going to get that cold front that's going to bring in a lot of cooler temperatures. And Isabel, I'm dying to know, how are we going to see those effects here in Tallahassee?
Yes, so earlier I talked about the state of Florida as a whole, but we are going to zoom into the Big Bend region. Some people call it the armpit of Florida, but I call it a good time. So it is 83 degrees in Tallahassee, similar temperatures throughout the whole Big Bend region. And as we said earlier, because of that cold front, we are seeing lower dew point temperatures, which is making the air a little bit drier. Current winds are coming straight from the north, 0 miles per hour. It looks like the screen isn't working, but we can see that it is 3 miles per hour in Perry and in Apalachicola. As I just said, the dew points are very low at 70 degrees, and that's a big difference from our temperatures, which makes the air a little bit drier. So today we saw pretty much no clouds in the sky in our region, other than in some places down by the coast. But as that moves on to tonight, we might see some in the later times this afternoon. The future radar, if you're going to go to College Town, go to the game tomorrow, we're going to see some clouds that are going to make us a little bit cooler than we would feel otherwise. And as that moves to Sunday, that's going to be cleared out until later parts of the week. So Friday night forecast, if you're going down to College Town, it is going to be very, very comfortable temperatures sitting at in the upper 60s, partly cloudy, calm winds. It's going to be a beautiful day to get out there and celebrate the Knolls. Going on to Saturday, you could be going to the lake or you might be going to the game. So if you're at the lake, get yourself to the game. It's going to be 84 degrees, partly cloudy with 11 mile per hour winds, which might be good if you do want to go sailing. Then Saturday night, 46 degrees. That is very cool. So maybe if you're going to go out after the game, bring a jacket with you. It's partly cloudy with winds again coming from the north at 7 miles per hour. So that's going to feel a little bit cooler even than that 46 degrees. On Sunday, you're chilling with your parents by your pool. It is going to be very nice temperatures, except for a little bit cooler if you do plan to go swimming. It is sunny and cool and a beautiful day altogether to spend with your family. So the week ahead, we have an amazing week ahead up until we get to about Thursday and Friday. It's going to be very stormy later throughout the week, but Saturday we have a very beautiful day for that game, and it's going to get cooler as we move to Sunday. These are the temperatures that we want to see around this time. So I'm going to take a step back so you can see the rest of the week. On Friday, there's a 60% chance of rain, so I don't know how that's going to affect our game next weekend. The low is going to be very, very low come on Monday. That is going to be the lowest temperature that we've seen in Tallahassee in the last 6 months. So to me, it sounds like fall is coming. We also will have a very stormy next weekend, so we'll see how that affects our daily life.
Yeah, we definitely will. We'd have another strong cold front coming through at the end of next week. It looks like only this one could bring the potential for heavy rain and maybe watch for even isolated severe weather at the end of next week too.
I know. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited for those cooler temperatures. I have been wearing short sleeves for too long. I'm ready for sweater season.
Yeah, I am too. It's definitely going to be nice as we head into Sunday and Monday. We're not going to have to be dealing with the warm and humid conditions while we're walking to our classes and going out and about.
Yeah, a lot of people like the warm temperatures of Florida, but I'm from Virginia, so I'm ready for those more temperate seasons.
Yeah, definitely. Virginia's going to be much cooler, so people up there are going to be used to the cooler weather. It's going to feel nice. I'm from here in Florida, but I like the cool weather. It gets old to have hot and humid conditions all the time. Yeah, and that cold front, as we've said several times throughout the show, it's been pushing those dry temperatures, those dry air out. So it's been a very nice week, and it's only going to get more comfortable. Yeah, it definitely is. It's going to feel, we're going to get the dew points lower, we're going to get the temperatures lower, and it's going to feel really nice as we do head in to this weekend, especially Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, so make sure that you follow us on Twitter, and that is going to be at FSU Weather. Like us on Facebook at FSU Weather. Also on YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this right now, so you know how to get there, at FSU Weather. And on Instagram, send us your weather pictures if you want to be featured at FSU Weather.
All right, and now we're going to take one last look at an overview of the show. It is going to be the cold front that is going to come through this weekend. We are looking at really cool temperatures already this morning in parts of the Midwest, parts of the Plains. You're dealing with 39 degrees in Kansas City, 48 in Minneapolis, 36 in Rapid City. It's going to get cool already. Down here in Southeast, it's going to get warm, but it's only going to be warm for one more day, it's looking like. So we are going to be dealing with, looking into Sunday, we're going to be dealing with much cooler temperatures. Look at 53 in Tallahassee, 47 in Atlanta. You can see exactly where the cool shot is over the eastern U.S. As we head into Sunday day is going to warm up a little bit. 73 is a lot cooler than what we've been seeing. And one last look at our week ahead. We're dealing with the cool conditions on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, all below 80. And then we're dealing with potential for heavy rain and potentially severe storms next Thursday and Friday. So stay weather aware